The all-new Inside Sources. Inside Sources. Your inside access to the people and policies shaping Utah's future. Here are Greg Skordas and Holly Richardson on KSL NewsRadio.
So there's a lot going on in the Alpine School District right now, and that is the school district where I live. It's back to school season. We start a week from today, but it is also election season, and that means really, it's an important election this go-round because Alpine School District is splitting into 3 different districts that each one will have 7 school board members, and there were 77 candidates who filed to fill those 21 seats.
Every cat had 7 kittens.
7 kittens, right?
Had 7 cats. Hey, so remind us what happened. In the last election, there was a vote to the people in the Alpine School District area,
right?
As I recall, and the Alpine School District was getting big. It was
Huge.
Getting much too large, and I think that the voters were asked, should it stay, should it split into 2, or should it split into 3? I don't recall exactly, but ultimately, whatever that was on the ballot, they decided to create 3 new school districts.
Yeah, 3-1. But you said voters in that district. It's not actually true. So I live in Pleasant Grove. We were not people who were party to that vote, and neither was Orem. Like, our city councils didn't weigh in and didn't jump into saying we want to have a discussion on this. So it was the other 2 that will be split off into 2 different districts that their voters got to vote on 2 or 3, and they chose 3.
So are you going to be in one of the remaining districts then?
I will be in a new district. Yes, everybody who lives there will be in a new district, but I will be in a district because of where I live. I live in Pleasant Grove, but I'm very close to American Fork, which I will not be in. And I'm very close to Cedar Hills. So right now, our elementary school student goes to a Cedar Hills school. They went to all of my other kids who went to the regular junior high, went to one that is in Highland, and then the high school was American Fork High School. But now they're all of those boundaries are changing, and all of my kids, well, I only have one left, but she will go to different schools.
Well, let's bring in the Director of Communications for Alpine School District, Dr. Rich Stowell. Dr. Stowell, how badly have we butchered this morning?
Hey, Holly has studied up.
I know. She's always like that.
She knows it all. I feel like maybe I should start asking her some questions.
No. I'm just a parent.
No, Holly's right. There will be 3 new school districts. I mean, legally speaking, there are 4 school districts 4 school districts that exist right now, because when voters voted last November on those propositions, it created new school districts. And then later, Holly, as you probably know, the cities of Orem and Linden and Pleasant Grove and Vineyard got together, and they did create an interlocal agreement. And so those are legal entities now. And Alpine School District will continue to operate until June 30th of 2027, at which point we will, in a moment, we will hand off all operations to those new 3 school districts, and Alpine School District will no longer exist. Largest school district in the state will no longer exist.
So if that happens in 2027, I'm confused, Dr. Stowell. Why are we voting for the school board now?
Yeah, well, because it takes a long time to get things ready for students. I mean, I feel like we're sort of on annual cycles, but really we're looking 2, 3, 5, sometimes 10 years out on these operational issues and curriculum issues. And when voters decided to create new school districts, they decided to take everything on. You know, what they want to pay teachers, what programs they want in their schools, how big they want their schools, whether or not they are going to have to build new schools. Those are a lot of issues, and so new boards really are going to have that prerogative. We owe it to those voters in those communities to let their more localized representatives make some of those decisions. And so they're going to have to hire a superintendent who will have to hire staff and decide what they want their programs to look like and what they want their teacher benefits to look like. And all of that stuff just has to be done a year or 2 ahead of time.
So, Dr. Stowell, I'm going to ask you, let's talk about the election process right now. So I mentioned there were 77 people who filed, and then I went and looked again and counted. It looks like 7 people have withdrawn, but that leaves 70 people for 21 seats. And we're at the primary deadline really coming up. So Tuesday's primary day. I opened my ballot. I have 5 people on my ballot. I can choose one. And then these people, the two top vote getters, will go on to the general election, and then whoever wins in November. My understanding is they're going to immediately get to work as a school board. Is that correct?
That's our understanding, too. I think the legislature allowed, in this specific instance, allowed them to take their seats earlier than they normally would, so they can get to the business of organizing a new school district. I mean, this is really historic, isn't it, to elect that many school board members all at once and then ask them, hey, just go create a new school district and do everything that's required to make it successful in about 18 months. So the more time they have, the better. And of course, they're not going to be doing it in a vacuum. There's lots of talent and lots of expertise here in Alpine School District that we hope they will draw upon. Many of our current sitting board members are also running for those new school boards. So there will be a lot of experience there, but they do need time. And so we anticipate that those new boards will be seated before the end of the year. So between the election in November and Christmas, they'll probably get to work.
Dr. Stowell, have the three districts been defined? By that I mean, do we know what schools will be in which district?
Yes, we know exactly what the boundaries are. They are municipal boundaries. They follow those city boundaries of those communities. So if a school is in that district right now, we know it probably won't move. It's hard to move a big building. So we know all of the schools that will be in the new districts. And so we've tried to make it easy for those employees too. We've said that the employees who work in those buildings at the time of the handover, they will just continue in the new district. And so we're trying to help movement in the district that way to make it easier on our employees. But yeah, we know the boundaries, we know the schools. We have pretty good projections of student population 5 and 10 years out. And so we're really kind of moving towards this, and our staff has a pretty good idea of what challenges those new boards will face, and so they'll be ready to hand off some ideas to them so they can make sure those new school districts are successful on day one.
I mentioned right before we brought you on that where we live in Pleasant Grove, our children were in 3 different cities for their schools. So Cedar Hills for one, and then Highland, and then American Fork. Even though we were also close to Lone Peak and we're also close to Pleasant Grove High School, but the closest was American Fork. So that all changes for our family. But you mentioned, and I'd like to go back to this if you don't mind, what kind of training is there anything in place for these new school boards? You may have, people who transition over who already have experience, but I'm imagining if you're new to a school board and your first task is hiring a superintendent, who's going to train you to do that?
That is a really good question. We hope that the voters will choose people who have good values, who have good vision, who have a good track record of leadership in their community. And priorities that we think are going to help students learn, right? But really, each school board is an independent body. They can determine how they want to govern and what steps they want to take to reshape a district. And so we'll see. It's exciting. The really cool part of this is you have so many people talking about what public education requires, and that's really a unique opportunity. I mean, some of these school election boards in normal cycles can be kind of sleepy. They're kind of afterthoughts, right, to the bigger ticket elections. But we're really excited that people are out talking about what it means to run a school district, what a school district really requires in terms of funding or priorities or values or vision. And so I think ultimately that will result in solid school board members, and ultimately it'll result in good outcomes for our students.
Dr. Stowell, I need a favor. Can you stick around for one more segment?
I would be happy to.
Oh,
Thank
you're
you.
a hero. Okay, we'll be right back with Dr. Rich Stowell, Director of Communications, Alpine School District, to finish this conversation.
Can you believe it?
Touchdown! Stayed inside the boundary.
24 days until opening kickoff. This is your home for BYU football. Plus, breaking news and weather every morning. Listen for Andy and Amanda each morning when you get in the car. And Jeff Kaplan on the drive home on KSL NewsRadio.
You've lived with the pain long enough. The missed meals, covered smiles, the moments you've avoided because of your teeth. If you're living with missing or broken teeth or struggling with dentures, take your life back. Stubbs Dental Implant Center has helped thousands reclaim their health, confidence, and joy with permanent dental implants. What do Stubbs Dental patients say?
I'm no longer in pain, and I can finally be myself again after getting dental implants. I just wish I would have gone to Stubbs Dental sooner.
I was at a denture for 10 years before I got dental implants. My life has completely changed thanks to Stubbs Dental.
You know, I hated looking at myself in the mirror. Getting dental implants from Stubbs Dental has been life-changing.
As a 3-time Best of State winner with over 2,500 5-star Google reviews, Stubbs Dental doesn't just fix teeth, they change lives. Visit StubbsDental.com today to reserve your free consultation. A $350 value completely free. StubbsDental.com.
Did you hear? A recent stash of $10 gold Liberty coins from the 1800s has been found. These gorgeous gold coins are as bright and shiny as the day they were struck in the late 1800s. And less than 200 of these gold coins are available. Coin experts are calling this gold find an incredible opportunity. Call 1-800-917-4635 and you are guaranteed a $10 gold Liberty coin minted by the U.S. Mint in the 1800s. But with extremely limited availability, you must call now. These gold Liberty coins from the 1800s are still in uncirculated condition. That is history you can hold in your hand. To learn more, call 1-800-917-4635. Call now and you'll receive a free American Coin Collector's Bonus Package, a $40 value, free with every order. Call 1-800-917-4635 now to secure your $10 gold Liberty coins dated from the 1800s before they sell out. That's 1-800-917-4635.
Many people worry they're not making the right investment choices inside their 401ks. Did you know that you might have a little-known opportunity to add some additional investment choices to your 401k and get the help and recommendations you've been looking for? This exciting feature is called a self-directed brokerage window. And the best part? The money still stays within your 401k. Learn how the trusted advisors at Capital Wealth may be able to expand your investment portfolio. To learn more, call or text the word VISIT to 801-877-9800 or go to CapitalWealth401k.com. Improving your 401k might mean the difference of retiring a few years earlier. Let's find out. Schedule your no-cost 15-minute consultation with the Capital Wealth team today. Call or text the word VISIT to 801-877-9800 or go to CapitalWealth401k.com. Advisory services offered through Capital Wealth Advisors, LLC, a state of Utah registered investment advisor.
Over the years, you've brought them into your home. You were prescribed opioids after the C-section and after Dad's back injury. They helped when you were in pain, and you held on to them just in case. But did you know holding on to unused opioids puts your family at risk? Trouble with opioids can start at home with unused medicines such as pills, patches, and syrups. You can remove the risk and protect your family. Find out how at www.fda.gov/drug disposal.
Getting help with plumbing repairs is easier than you think. All you have to do is call Any Hour Services or schedule an appointment at anyhourservices.com. No one helps more homeowners than Any Hour Services.
Inside Sources.
Welcome back to Inside Sources, and we are back with our guest from Alpine School District. Doctor, let me ask you a question about the boundaries, and I just want to make sure that I have everything right. We're talking with Dr. Rich Stowell, Director of Communications. The boundaries will follow city lines. So, for example, I'm looking at one of the specific boundaries, which is the Timpanogos District. Pleasant Grove, Linden, Vineyard, and Orem. If you're in those cities, you're in that district. Is it that simple?
It's that simple. And this is because really the legal mechanism that created these new school districts was an agreement among those cities to form a new school district from Alpine School District. This was not a decision of the Alpine School District Board of Education, although at the time, for a couple of years they were studying it. But about a year and a half ago, the legislature created an easier path for those cities to come to an agreement to make a new school district. And so that's what happened in the cities of Lehigh, American Fork, and up in that central area of our district. They got together, created they formed this compact to put this proposition on the ballot, and then the municipalities out west did the same thing. And so those two propositions went to ballot last November, kind of leaving Pleasant Grove, Orem, Linden, Vineyard out of it. So and then a few weeks later, they also formed an interlocal agreement to create a new school district.
So, Dr. Stoll, let me ask you this question. We actually had a texter ask us this, and I am wondering as well. What about either like the Dan Peterson School or alternative high school programs within Alpine School District right now? What happens with them?
Our board is deeply concerned about those students who they get lots of great services and great education experiences because of our size. Our board is looking at ways to make sure that those experiences remain available to students across the 3 new school districts. Now, Dan Peterson, for your listeners' benefit, is a school that serves students with extreme special needs. It takes a lot of training. It's hard to find teachers sometimes for those students. And so there's a lot of resources that go in, far and above the typical per pupil cost to provide education for a student. And so because of our scale, we're able to do that across one district and have that at one school. It'll be a challenge for these new school districts to provide similar experiences across the board. There might be some difficult choices that they have to make, but our board is committed to making that available to them. And there's always options about shared services and contracting with other districts to maintain that scale.
Okay. Let's go back to the election. So people should have their ballots at this point. What do you want voters in Alpine School District to know about this election?
Well, the first thing they need to know is that their ballot has to be received by August 12th. So get that ballot in. Don't wait till August 12th to go mail it. It might not count. So get it in a ballot drop box. Make sure your vote is recorded. The other thing is go talk to people who are running for school board and find out what they want. The reasons for voting in favor of one of these propositions to create a new school district, the reasons are varied, right? So residents need to really decide what they want. Do they want super low taxes and bare bones schools and programs? Or do they want lots of programs, and we know that those come at a cost? We know that one of the drivers out west was probably facilities. So what kind of schools do you want? Do you want, big, beautiful schools? Do you want modern facilities? What do those facilities look like? And then staffing is always a big thing. Sometimes it's really hard to find great teachers. We've been able to do that in Alpine School District for many, many years. Our school district is a destination for teachers because we pay well, we offer good benefits, and probably more than anything, we have very robust systems of support and professional development. So we build these learning communities that teachers really love, and school board members are going to have to commit to whether they want to do that. So it's more than just passing a vote on a tax increase once every couple of years. It's really about understanding what students need in today's day and age. We live in a different world than when you and I went to elementary and high school. The world's changing. The requirements for producing an educated workforce are changing. And these school boards really need to understand what is available and what they can do with those resources. So get into those conversations, I would think, in ways that go deeper than what you might have normally talked about your kid's school around the kitchen table.
Dr. Stowell, you have to be pleased, and maybe secondarily, what do you make of the fact that you've got 70 people running for these school board positions? That's, I don't know, to me that's exciting. That's good.
Yeah, that's really cool. It's really cool. People are talking about public education, and we love that. The discussion out there, sometimes it can get a little heated, and they always say, what's the maxim? There's all politics is local, I think. That's great. That's what we want. I can't think of anything more important than how we educate our kids, and school boards really have a lot of influence there. The other thing that comes to mind is I'm a parent. I have kids in schools, and we're kind of looking at what's happening this week, this month. And the teachers might be looking at what's happening this year, and the principals might be worried about a year or 2 or 3. School boards are really setting the foundation for 5, 10, even 20 years into the future. So this is a really historic election, and the fact that so many people are interested in those conversations is really exciting to us, and I think it bodes well for the future of public education in this part of our state.
Yeah, thank you. You know, you mentioned tax increases, and I've got to ask you questions.
I opened the door there, huh?
You did. So, yes. So I know Alpine School District last night approved a tax increase. I will pay that for you. Thank you. But tell us about that. Why now? Why is Alpine School District approving a tax increase right now?
Well, the main reason is because we're growing. We have to build facilities out west. Now, all these funds are fungible, and if you listened to the board meeting last night, you would have learned that we have money to build those schools out in the western part of our district that are required. We just broke ground on a new high school that has been needed for a long time. Our high schools are at capacity out there. Actually, they're above capacity, and we have several elementary schools that, I mean, we just cannot build fast enough. So many houses are going up in Eagle Mountain. Probably by the time this conversation's over, we might need another school out there. But so those pressures exist, and they continue to exist. And during this period of transition, our board really felt that it was important to give as much flexibility to new boards of education so that they could focus on programs and teacher hiring and not have to worry about, not have to go through kind of the political minefield of figuring out how to fund all of those things that residents are going to expect of their new school districts.
Dr. Stowell, we started the show today with a sort of a contentious school board meeting out west in Tooele County. How did yours go?
It went as expected. We had, I think we had around 20 folks who commented publicly. We love hearing from our constituents. Many of them were opposed to the tax increase. What we heard from some of our board members is a real intent to listen. It was not a unanimous vote to increase those taxes, but our board unanimously said we appreciate the feedback. I think they do take seriously their responsibility to listen to voters, and they listen in a variety of ways. The public hearing is one of them, but I know our board members are so committed to making sure these new school districts get started on the right foot. They're talking to hundreds of people a week, and what they're reporting back is that people want a continuity of the excellent education they've been getting with the schools that Alpine has administered up to now. And nobody that I've ever talked to has ever argued with the fact that we have excellent schools in Alpine School District. We have wonderful teachers, we have wonderful administrators, and all the voters, they want to see that continue, and it takes resources. And we know that public education requires an investment. Our board doesn't take that lightly, and they appreciate all of and especially you, Holly, they appreciate the tax revenue that comes from hardworking voters in our school district.
So in 10 seconds, how are those funds going to be divvied up when the split happens? On a per capita basis, by the number of students in each school district. Hey, thank you for joining us today.
That was wonderful, and he did it in 10 seconds or less.
He did.
That was Dr. Rick Stowell from the Alpine School District.